The following is a presentation of Geekster Media.
Welcome to the Retro Resurgence Podcast. Now, get ready to take that journey into the neon glow of nostalgia. Here are your hosts, Ken and Chad.
All right, well, welcome back, everybody, to episode 4 of the Retro Resurgence Podcast. We're glad you're back here joining us for another trip down that road of nostalgia. And with me is my co-host, Chad. How you doing, bud?
Ken, it's always a pleasure. Episode 4.
Yeah.
We're ready and roaring to get started here.
Yeah, I can't believe we're on 4 already. It just seems like we just started the show not that long ago.
Yeah, we've in between episodes we've been both Ken and I have been learning social media and how to market ourselves with Instagram and Reels and Twitter posts, hashtags, and that's something that I feel as a younger generation would just starts off knowing, but as you're older you start like right. It's like trying to learn that stuff, but it's been
Definitely.
fun trying to learn what the young folks do all the time, on IG. We haven't gone the way of TikTok yet. I don't know.
No, not yet. I'm not ready for that yet.
But we do have some feedback from episode 3. I remember we sort of talked about our favorite horror movies from the decade.
Right.
Our buddy on Twitter, our ex-Serpy Matt, chimed in, said great episode. Always awesome to hear the Supernaturals get mentioned. That was Ken's toy pick.
Yeah.
Went along, obviously, with spooky season. He said he would really love to see them get some form of revamp soon. And he shared a few pictures of ones that he owns. So thanks, Matt, for the feedback.
Yeah, thank you. And then we had one comment on our Instagram. His name is Jerospace. And he said, another fun episode. My Halloween movie would be Monster Squad. Do you know that movie?
I don't, and I actually looked it up when he mentioned it, and
Okay.
It's basically the Universal monsters, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Just kind of with a fresh coat of paint. They looked pretty cool in the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll add that to my watch list somewhere. Yeah, thanks. Jarrett Smith, he also has left us Apple podcast review a couple weeks ago, 5-star. We really appreciate that, and feel like he consumes a lot of retro content because I've heard his name mentioned on other podcasts that I listen to. So he's he's a consumer like we all like to be.
But Chad, this is a special episode for us. This is our first guest that we're going to have on the show here. We're honored here at the Retro Resurgence to introduce our very first guest. To me, he's a seasoned veteran in the podcast world, a seasoned veteran in the retro community. He runs the Rediscover the 80s.com and agentsofmass.com. Everybody help us here. Welcome Wyatt Bloom. Wyatt, thanks for joining us today.
Hey, Chad, with the applause.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, man. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, thank you. I'm honored to be a part of this podcast, and I've loved what you've done so far. Haven't got around to the comments, but man, you guys rock. You're doing a great job.
Thank you.
Yeah, we appreciate it. I know Wyatt, just from past podcasts, you're a big family man. You've got is it 5 or 6 kids?
6 right now.
That's that's quite the feat, man. So
Yep.
I appreciate you. I know I'm just starting with one myself there, and she's 2 years old. But I even just now, just trying to get here to the podcast, it was like, cutting it close for bedtime, bath time, and of course the slew of other things as a dad. So
Right.
appreciate you squeezing us in, and yeah, man, you get the distinction of the first official guest of the Retro Resurgence Podcast. So
Wow, I'm humbled.
Yeah, and the reason why it's here will be revealed later on in the show. Yeah, like Chad said, we thank you for coming on and joining us here.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thank you.
So what we like to do here, before we get to the main topic, is we like to just do a little icebreaker discussion to kind of just get the conversation flowing a little bit. So what I decided that we should maybe talk about, it's something simple, but since we're in the middle of Halloween season here, I decided to ask you, Wyatt and Chad, and then myself, what is your favorite monster cereal? So I think since Wyatt's the guest here, we'll go with him first, if you do have one.
Well, it's been some time since I've had it, but I tended to like that Frankenberry flavor of the monster cereal. Is it a trio? I think it's a trio now. It used to be, if I remember right, there was actually a fourth way back in the day, but it's been 40 years, so I could be a little rusty on that answer.
Yeah, okay. I know the first three actually, Count Chocula, Frankenberry, and Boo Berry, all came out in the 70s. And then I think there was two
Yummy
others, Fruit Brute and Yummy Mummy. I think
Yep.
Yummy Mummy came out in the 80s. So,
You're right.
All right. So, well, Chad, how about you?
Well, I can honestly tell you guys, and may have to take my retro card away, but I have never had a taste of a single monster cereal. If I had back in the day, it would have been Count Chocula. If I was at the store, asking mom for cereal, it was probably Cocoa Puffs, Cocoa Pebbles. But
Right.
I feel like this one, was this always a seasonal item, or was it always year round?
Back in, I want to say in the 70s and 80s, you could find it year round, all in the stores all the time. But now I want to say maybe over the last 5 or 6 years, it just comes out around this time of year. So
Yeah.
whenever we make our trip to Sam's Club in late August or early September, I make sure that,
Yeah.
we always pick them up.
Yep.
Are any of are you a box collector, Ken? Like I know some people like the box art and the design.
Yes, I do.
You?
Yeah. And then my favorite, I'm going with Boo Berry because I like, the blueberry flavor that it comes with. They came out with new designs for the boxes this year. So I'm going to show you guys the artwork, the new design from this year. So here we have the Frankenberry.
Yep.
Nice.
It kind of went back with the old style retro artwork this year, which I really like. So there we have him. And then here we go with the Boo Berry.
Yeah, nice.
And then I have a double box Count Chocula here. So we got 2 bags in this one. So
Nice.
to me, it's not Halloween season without mentioning the monster cereals or having them in my house. So
Now I'm seeing, I would say that within the last 4 or 5 years, a new one had its kind of emerged, Carmela Creeper.
yeah, that just came out
Wow.
last year. That wasn't brand new. Yeah.
You had that one, anybody?
I have not had it.
I haven't either. I don't think I've missed that one somewhere.
Yeah, it's supposed to have a caramel apple flavor. I have yet to try it.
It's definitely a more modern flavor. I mean, I'm looking at the box and she's dressed in a very like a goth style with phones, and I think sort of like a reinvention of today's modern kid or teenage girl. And then I also see that, I think it was last year, they actually combined them all and come up with Monster Mash Remix, where a little bit of every flavor mixed into one.
Yeah, I don't try those when they try to mix them all together. I don't know if that would be very good.
Yeah. Guess if you can't decide, you might as well get that one.
Right.
Yeah, well, it's an interesting, over the years. I'm a big like design guy. I love like food packaging and just logos and graphics and those boxes from the 70s and 80s, man. Those things are cool, and I'm sure they probably go for a pretty penny on eBay or something. But you gotta, if you're gonna start, you might you're gonna probably keep those boxes and Who
Oh
knows?
yeah. I
30,
always tell
40
I
years
tell
down
the
the road.
kids, I say, if you're going to use this, don't tear or rip the box. And when you're done, fold it up and save it for me. But all right, I think that'll do it for our little icebreaker here. And then we'll move on to our main topic of the show.
And now, let's move on to the main topic of the show.
All right, so that was a fun little icebreaker with the monster cereals. So now we're going to get into our main topic of the show. And for this episode, this was Chad's pick. So, Chad, what do we got today for the show?
Well, we are going to be discussing our memories, our favorite board games, maybe of yesteryear, and hell, even maybe like today. Maybe we play with our own children, and but we're gonna focus. We're a nostalgic podcast, so we want to start off with like the games we remember and grew up as a child. So what we're gonna do, we're just basically gonna have 3 picks here, and I guess I'll start off with mine, and we'll go from there.
Okay.
My game, I'm gonna give you guys a couple guesses to see if you can name my game. The first clue of my game is the word dome. Dome. Does
Okay.
anybody have a guess? Or
Trouble.
You want me? Ding, ding, ding.
Nice.
The guess gets it on the first try. So yeah, my first pick of this game, me and my sister and my family, we played the heck out of this one. Trouble was a game that just was made in 1965. And it's known for its unique game board in the sense that the way you rolled is not with a traditional dice, where somebody could potentially alter the result. You are actually popping a plastic container called the Pop-O-Matic Dome, and you usually have to get a 6, I believe, to get out. You have 4. It's a 4-player game, and have both of you played Trouble?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've played it here and there. That wasn't one that we really went to a whole lot, but yeah, I have played it.
Yeah, I don't know why this one came into our life. I mean, me and my sister didn't necessarily ask for it. It just kind of showed up in our family, and it was something that mom, dad. It's a quick pickup. There's no really big learning curve, and it's so frustrating when you've got somebody nearly around the board, and much like a game called Sorry that maybe we could be talking about later, but you can get bumped back to home and you got to start all over, and
Yeah.
it was definitely the cause of some frustration back in the day for me and my sister. But we actually recently went on a cabin trip with my in-laws, and we brought Trouble to the cabin, and of course had it right there on the table, and we just picked it. We just at breakfast in the middle of the day, you just picked up and played a quick game. It was easy and fun, and that game to me always is going to remind me of my childhood, and it was just fun, timeless game. And I think even some young kids can pick it up real quick and play. So that's my first pick, Trouble.
Okay. All right. I'll go next. A clue that I have is restaurant.
I'm going to take a guess, because if this is your pick, this is actually one I picked. But is it the game called Pizza Party?
No.
Okay.
I'll give one more clue. Someone who works at a restaurant.
Cook or chef, waiter?
Okay, you got waiter correct.
I don't know of any games with a waiter.
Yeah. He's stumping
Okay.
me.
All right. So this game is from 1979. It's called Don't Tip the Waiter.
Interesting. I don't think I've heard of that one.
Okay. So basically what it is it's not necessarily a board game per se, but you have this cardboard waiter, and then you place him on this little platform, and he has a platter in his hand, and then you have all these bunch of different cardboard cutouts of different kinds of food, and then you and somebody else will keep putting the food on the platter, and if you make him lose his balance, you have these little they look like dollar bills. They're made from the company Color Forms.
Oh yes.
So then if you're the one who makes him tip, you have to stick a piece of the money to him, and then basically it's whoever runs out of money first loses the game. I always remember playing that one with my mom back, I think probably when I was like 5 or 6 years old, so pretty early on.
Yeah, so it looks like they've since then have remade the game time and time again.
Yeah. So
which I think a lot of good games, you're going to see that, right? You're going to have the games, they're going to redesign the look and the feel of it, but keep the same principle for new audiences,
Yeah.
Right. So that's my first game. I always remember playing that with my mom a lot. So,
Cool.
All right, Wyatt, what do you got for us?
All right. Your one-word clue is deal.
We had talked off air, Wyatt, about potentially maybe not traditional board game. I'm going to say like War.
No.
No? Okay.
Okay, does it involve cards?
It's a board game,
It's a board game.
Deal.
Uno? No, that's
No.
not a board. That's not a board game. I don't know. I'm stumped.
Yeah, you got me too.
All right. Your second clue is it's had several editions, but began in 1974.
That's the year I was born.
I'm going to take a guess, and it might be a little bit of a cheating because I've listened to Wyatt on previous podcasts. I'm going to say, and I've never played this game, but I'm going to say Payday.
He won.
Is it?
You got it.
Oh, man.
It is
All right. Okay.
That only come to me because I've heard you mention this
Yep.
in the RD80s podcast and other podcasts. So you got to tell us about Payday.
So Payday is set literally as a calendar, 1 to 31 days. And obviously you have different things in the way. You have mailboxes, and within those mailboxes, they could be 1, 2, or 3 letters. But those letters could be letters, bills, credit card payments. It could be windfall. So, you steal $500 from a neighbor, whatever the case may be. You also have a lottery at the end of the week. So you can play a lottery if you choose. It's really just each player says, their number that they want to roll, and whoever rolls their number first gets what's in the ante, kind of like a card game, a bet. But at the end of the month, you get a payday.
Okay.
Growing up, we had what was probably considered now the classic or close to the original. Actually, it was in the 80s, so it's probably not quite the original version. But we had so much fun with it. That's one of the go-to games that we've spoken about over on the Rediscover the 80s side of things, particularly Memory Jogger on that series of episodes. So yeah, that's been, it's been kind of a constant play in our household and elsewhere.
Okay, so you might have to pull my retro card here. I don't know if I've ever played that game. I always get that one and Life mixed up somehow. I know I've played Life, tons of times, but Payday, I don't know. I don't ever remember sitting down and playing that one.
So the original clue was deal. There were certain spots along the board where you'd have a deal, and it'd be exactly that. It's a deal, it's a gamble type of thing. And you'd pick up a card, and it might be I can't remember, but I think one of them is a music or a guitar store, something like that. You are essentially making a business deal.
Okay.
So it's your offer or whatever bid is, we'll say $400. Well, if you hit a buyer space anywhere along the board at any time, it could be 3 or 4 months before you come up with this buyer. You've gambled, you've invested, $400, but the reward is when you hit the buyer could be $2,000. So you've got a good investment.
Yeah.
But there's other ones that aren't, in the grand scheme of things, they're not a great investment. Like there's one that's like an $800 investment, but you get only $1,200 in return.
Yeah.
It's a smaller gain. It's still a gain, but it's not bit of a game. And then there's house rules to it, like Monopoly typically has house rules. Some people put some kind of ante in the free parking spot.
Yeah.
We would customarily do the same thing with the charity. So we would put, $200, or we would say any play on the board would go to the charity, even though there's only key spots that fell into the charity jackpot. So sometimes, if we play by the rules, you might only get $200 or $300 whenever someone rolled the 6, and that was the key.
Yeah.
You rolled 6, you got your lottery. But yeah, it was such a fun game. Again, it was a quick, and you could always play. By rule, you're supposed to roll the dice and determine, okay, 5 months. But it ended up being, let's go another. I'm way behind. Let me catch up, or I'm done. Just end it now, type of thing.
Right. Chad, do you know that one?
I think I played it once. It was more like a modern 90s version, but
Okay.
I was sure the rules were similar. And was the point of the game just to have the most money at the end? Is that?
Yes, that was it. And you couldn't, if you had investments that were never sold, you couldn't include that. So if you sat on a investment, $800, I'm waiting for the $1,200. Oh, wait, can I? Nope, it's not part of the rules. You could have lost that money.
Yeah. All right.
Awesome.
Yep. We'll go on to our second picks. I'll go first. My first clue will be Devour.
Devour.
Hungry Hippo.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
You got it.
Yes.
Wow.
All right. So
Ken, I was thinking of that myself for my pick, and I didn't choose it, but my clue would have been loud. Because
that's true. It's loud.
So loud.
So this game has had, many versions over probably around the last 40 years. Originally released in 1978 by Milton Bradley. I mean, I'm sure, everybody pretty much knows the premise of this game. You just drop a bunch of white marbles in the middle and just whatever hippo you got, you try to be the one who eats up the most.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty simple, but to me, that was always a fun game.
Yeah.
Lots of, we used to bring this out Christmas parties, birthday parties, things like that. So fun game. I always enjoyed playing it.
Nice.
Your kids ever play it in the modern day? Or in the...
Oh yeah, we've had it. I think we've had a couple different ones over the, past 20 years or so.
Yeah. Feel like I get my 2-year-old to play that one with me right now.
Oh yeah, she'd probably love that one.
We've had the miniature where it's just the 2 hippos, not the 4.
Oh, okay.
And that one has turned angst amongst the kids, so we stopped playing it, and they magically disappear somewhere.
Yeah.
Until we think that they can recoup and do it again, and that which might be 2 years before they see it again. We've had to do that with other items in the house where someone's just overly frustrated and it's broken.
Right.
For now.
All right. So, yep. Go ahead, Chad.
My pick, and I'll give you my first clue, is car.
Life.
Yes.
Nice.
Kind of
a great game.
Earlier. I didn't want to give it away. That was my pick. But my second clue was job, and my third clue was home. And if all of y'all played the game of life.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I feel this was another Milton Bradley, the goat of board games, I guess. He actually invented this in 1860. I guess this is probably one of the first board games probably on record, but the more modern version came out 100 years later. And of course, you basically start off by either going to college or you start your career, and along the way, life's trials and tribulations and joys and ups and downs happen. You have a car, you traverse the board, you can get married, you can have kids, you have to pick a house. I do remember that if you went to college, you would get your choice of 3, versus if you just went and got a job, it was just a random draw of the cards. So you might pick a career right out of, you could get lucky and get a career with a great paying job. But if you went to the college, you would get your choice of 3, and then you would then pick a house. Obviously, growing up, we all wanted to avoid. There was this one called it was like a dilapidated house. I think they called it split level or something, but they had different type of homes, and then of course you go through life, and along the way you can get fired, and you could win the lottery, and at the end of the game, I believe it's the person who can get through life with all their people intact and their money. And I do remember one thing is if you picked, it's kind of cool. If you were the police officer, as that was your career, and somebody rolled a 10, you would have to pay the police officer money because it's like a speeding ticket, I guess, in essence. But I thought that was a cool little addition to that career.
Yeah.
But anybody having memories of the game of life with their family?
Yeah, I think I started playing this game more after I started having kids. I don't think I played it too much as a kid myself, but then we picked one up one day and we played it quite often, with my kids and, wife. I've played it quite often more recently.
Yeah, we played it. The kids like it here. It's kind of hit or miss when we play, but I absolutely love it. I grew up with it as a kid. It has modernized. I think they've changed it just like Payday. They've upped it for the era.
Probably different careers now or different.
Well, the one that I noticed with the careers is like you were saying about you could choose from certain jobs. Well, if you went just the straight out of high school job route, but what it had was at the very bottom it says like an asterisk, degree required. So if someone randomly pulled that out, you'd have to reinsert it to go get one if they didn't. So we would pull that out and separate that, so it wasn't part of the choices when you make the choice.
It's funny how a lot of these games, it's like how you grew up playing it, like what he said, right? Like I don't know. I mean, that sounds like a good addition, right? You who out of high school, you probably aren't going to be making 6 figures, but but it's kind of probably a good rule to add. I don't know if that was official rule or just Wyatt's version, but that could be a good rule.
All right. So Wyatt, what do you got for your second pick?
Okay, the second pick, I will try to be, I guess, pretty decent about it. Volcar.
And you got me.
Yeah, nothing here.
Fireball Island.
Oh, okay.
That was the, I guess, the idol or whatever he was on the very top of the mountain.
Yeah. I know I've heard you and Jason talk about that one quite often.
Yes, we were very excited for like 2 years. We were starting to search for it, behind the scenes before we even knew that there was a new one coming out. When the new one came out, of course, we right away went and swooped up on it and got it. But I sat down. I need to do an official review, but I sat down with both games, and I was disappointed in the end with the new one because it must be a license or copyright or something where they couldn't do the exact Fireball Island. Yeah. Because a whole different rule set, and it's so much more complicated. I was like within the first week we received it, I broke it out and had the boys to play with it. I'm reading this, and there's no linear step-by-step how to play the game. There's something over here, there's text over here, there's text over here. In the middle, you finally figure out that that's where the rule set is, but it's not. I guess I'm expecting it to be step 1, step 2, step 3. It's more of like a story, and you have to kind of decipher that story of how to play this version of the game. And it's not nearly as clear cut as the original Milton Bradley version, where you just roll dice, you go, your paces, you have a set amount of cards, I think, in the beginning, and they're clear. Oh no, fireball! It's launched. Where the other one wasn't so clear. You'd have these funky, the new one had the funky instructions. You're like, where did you pull this out of? I mean, you had to circle around. If I remember you had to circle around the entire island and get back to where you started from so that you could helicopter and be out.
Right.
Where the original, you just went the route and you had to get down to the loading dock at the very end and you took a boat. There was a true start and a true finish. It didn't matter which way you went, and you had caves. In both sets, you had caves that, you rolled a 2, you went into cave 2.
Yeah.
And if you rolled the next set of dice, you came out, cave entrance 4, which I can't remember, but that might get you like on a cliff. So you're on the cliff hanging off the side of the volcano. Well, you got to roll the dice again to get back to another tunnel or cave, rather, to get out of there. But what impressed me, neither one of us, Jason or I, had that in our podcast. Instead, it was our mutual friend we kept talking about in our podcast that had it. So anytime we went to go visit him, it was like, nudge, nudge. Hey, can we play Fireball Island? Okay, we're going to play Super Mario. Okay.
Right. Man, this one too, I don't ever remember playing it at all. I don't think we ever had it.
It was a slightly more, I would call it, expensive game, probably for the era.
Yeah.
I stumbled upon it in one of our homes that I grew up in. We still don't know. I'm trying to rack my brain how we acquired it, because it's not one from the Bloom household. I believe it was either left to us by our mutual friend by accident, or it was part of the step family that we lived with when my mom remarried, and it might have been their kids, but they had no clue that it was theirs either. In clearing out the house, I'm like, no one's claiming it. I will.
Yeah.
And that's where it landed in our possession just now, within the last, I'd say, three years. But before then, like I said, it was such a rarity. Oh, and where I was going with this is the sticker. There's a Kmart sticker still on it, the old print, the label maker type thing, and it was $19.99. So I don't know what that equates to inflation and stuff. It's probably close to like $3,000 by now. But it was an expensive game then, when you could go down and get Payday, for example, for like $5-8 at Ames or Kmart or wherever.
Yeah. Chad, you have any experience with this game?
My only experience is hearing Wyatt and Jason talk about it on their memory joggers, and it's like their holy grails, and it's cool to have something like that. It's like a symbol of a friendship or a person. I'm looking at a used complete set, goes on eBay right now for about $500.
Sounds about par, because when I went on my little hunt for it, I was doing the Craigslist. eBay was coming up nothing at the time, but Craigslist I would come across, and I was searching like all the East Coast tags of towns and cities and stuff that Craigslist offered, and you'd say $400, but it would say incomplete, missing X or whatever. So it was never complete. When we went to a RetroCon, there's a guy that's been there for several years. He's just a game, that's all he does is just games. And we kept asking him, have you come across Fireball Island? He goes, no. And if we do, we're typically missing pieces, or we 3D print like the marbles or the figures or whatever else we need. We can't seem to find any one that's been totally complete yet. And then when it came back out, when it was redone, man, I need to do a follow-up. I haven't done a follow-up post on our side. Man, they had 2 Fireball Islands, old, and one was I believe a European, possibly French, I'm guessing. I'll have to dig through my galleries, but it was like astounding to see it there. Yeah, I have it. Yep, it's French. It's I believe Il Biol de Feu.
Okay.
Pronouncing it just like Alf might do.
Right.
But yeah, it was cool.
Do you feel like the movie Indiana Jones had a big influence on this game, the make of this game? I always get those kind of vibes.
I would say if it didn't get an influence by it, it was pretty coincidental. Yeah. But the oddity of that, it's not a 2D board. It's a 3D board. You actually had height and depth and crevices and the ability to, when the fireball, if you were on the bridge, it could knock you over if it was aimed right.
Yeah.
That was a unique thing to all of us, back in the day, that, wow, I can actually go up, and it's, oh, wow, I can go down to this crevice and hopefully the fireball doesn't get me. It was so unique, and that's why I think it was one of our favorites, even though we didn't, each of us had it ourselves.
When the fireball got you, would you be out, or would you just start over from the beginning?
You started over.
Okay.
Okay.
That's cool. Yeah, I mean, that's a cool, like, for its time, the depth of the game, how many games are we going to talk about that are just flat and rectangular? This one, you could say Mousetrap is also one
True.
that fits that description too, but
Yeah.
Cool, unique.
All right, so we're on our final picks. Chad, you want to go?
Yeah, I'll mention my last one. I actually guessed it. You said your waiter game. I guessed it. Mine's called Pizza Party. I don't know if this is a game a lot of people have heard. Do y'all know about Pizza Party?
No, I haven't.
Okay,
No,
so
I don't either.
no, so it's just a game that, again, like, where it came from in our household, I don't know. Maybe mom just went and picked up a couple board games at Toys R Us, but this was a 4-player game. Each person had a slice of pizza, and if you go on YouTube and Google or search for Pizza Party, you'll see it's got a fun little commercial for it, which I feel like in the 80s and especially the 90s, successful board games had to have a memorable commercial. Like, oh man, I remember just watching Nickelodeon in the 90s, and all the games had a game and a jingle, had a memorable commercial. And this one was, even in the late 80s it came out. But you basically have these circular discs, you put them in the middle, and you just go around, and you have to, the first disc you pull, you put them face down, and you have 4 toppings on your pizza. You have an onion, a mushroom, a bell pepper, and a pepperoni. And your goal is to build a slice of pizza with all the same toppings. And along the way, you might if you draw somebody else's topping, you throw it back into the pile. I mean, I guess you could probably mix it up or shake it up so the person doesn't see it, but it's basically a matching game. Very simple, easy to pick up for children. And the thing that made it kind of like frustrating is except for just matching, is if you drew a topping that it said switch, you could switch with somebody that had more toppings on their pizza. So at the end, the person who filled their toppings on their pizza was the winner. Again, a simple concept, probably 5 and up, or it could be your age rating on that one. But I just remember me and my sister having that one and playing that for years before it got too old.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of board games, when you're a kid, you might play it for a little bit, and you're like, okay, I know what this one's about. And back in the closet you go.
Yeah.
Right. All right. Well, we'll let Wyatt go here with his last pick.
All right. Well, let's see. Piles.
Piles. Oh man, just think about this. Piles. Anything, Ken? I want nothing. I'm gonna need another clue, Wyatt.
Yeah.
Okay, this is a card game. That's why I asked offline if
Okay.
if card games are included.
It's not Old Maid, is it?
No.
Okay.
No, I'm out.
All right. Third one, if you're listening to the podcast in the past, you've heard us both talk about it at length, that this was one of our go-to games.
I know I've listened to many of them, and let's see.
It has alternate names too.
My goodness, I'm drawing a blank. You're going to say it, and I'm going to know it, but what you got?
So the official name is Spit. It's a card game modeled or created somewhere in the UK in the 1980s. Its alternate name is Slam Speed, and there's 4-letter words for it. because how frustrating you could get with the game. But the way it rolls, how it plays is you shuffle all 52 cards, at least how we dealt it. We would deal, you have 4, I'll call it inner piles. So the first 2 on the outer side have, I think we did 5 cards. Then you have a single card on each side on the 2 in the middle. Then you split the rest of it up, the remaining to you 2 players. While you're gathering or whatever, you can put out 5 cards. We did 4, but I've seen online people did 5. You put 5 face-up cards, and then each of you on the 2 inner single games, you flip those cards and then just go to town. Then it's kind of like war. So it's 2, 3, 4, 5, 2, 3, or 5. I did it again, just like I did on a podcast earlier. 5, 4, 3, 2. Up and down. Ace was the universal, so you could go to ace king, or vice versa. It was interchangeable. But your whole goal is to get rid of your stack of cards that's in your hand. But if you both land on the same 2, the first one that calls it, calls spit, the other one gets the pile. So that's why Jason and I used to joke that there was an alternate name to it, because you'd be so frustrated because you might gather that pile of 20 cards, and then that's a pretty good high chance you're not gonna beat that round. Yeah. But you're doing this in such a fast pace and thinking, at the 5 cards, and you're having to remember to be able to hit the cards down while keeping your 5 cards open so you could keep going at pace. And then when you're at a stall where neither one of you can do anything, that's when you get those outer piles. Yeah. And then do the same thing. You just flip at the same time, kind of like maybe shooting a hockey puck or basketball at the initial game. They flip it up or drop the puck and boom, you go. And again, it's fast paced. We could go through the game probably in 5 to 10 minutes. That's how fast it was.
Wow. Okay,
we're done. Yep.
Yeah, I've never heard of that one.
Yeah.
It must be a regional thing, because I knew what you're saying, and we call it speed, but yeah. Okay. Would you use, how many decks of cards? Is it one?
Just one deck of cards.
Okay. Yeah. Card games, man. It's like sometimes they get kind of lost when you talk about board games, but and dice games as well. Those are just as big of a part of some kids' childhood, especially, right. In terms of like, you can always take a pack of cards anywhere you go. You may not can, lug Fireball Island over to your friends, but,
right.
All right. So I'll go to my last pick. It should be pretty simple. So we'll go with the first clue. This was actually a picture that was on the box. So Old West. Okay. Letters.
No.
Anything, Wyatt?
No, you're stopping me right now.
All right. You'll probably, once I say it, it'll probably be like, oh, okay. Hangman.
Oh, yep.
This one pretty simple. I don't have a date of when it was actually released, but I know we played it in the 80s. So basically it's just, you have a fold up little plastic case. You open it up. You have all your pieces, your letters, and then you have little slots on the top, and then you flip them so you can see the letters and the person you're playing against can't see them. And then you pick like a subject, a category, and then you just try to guess the word. And if you pick a letter and it's not one of the letters you have, you just turn the little dial and you just, how you like draw the little hangman picture, with this, it's, each little frame has a piece when you keep turning it. And then if you get, complete the picture, then, that person has lost. Pretty simple, easy. We played it all the time.
Is this the one that I'm looking at a picture of Vincent Price on the board game?
Yeah. Yep.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. It looks like the Old West, and absolutely.
Right.
Yeah. Now, see, I think of Hangman, I just think of like being in school,
Yep.
being bored on
Yeah.
paper. But this one is,
Yep.
Yeah.
I remember playing that as a kid, but I think it was at some friend's, maybe a relative's house that we played maybe 1 or 2 rounds, and that was it.
Yeah, we played that a lot when I would sleep over at a cousin's house or something. We'd always have tournaments and things like that. So it was always fun.
Nice.
well, Ken, I wanted to maybe just anybody have any like honorable mentions, just some quick hitters. I just wanted to give a shout out to Yahtzee. I mean, I think, it's a classic dice game. Not so, maybe not so much for children, but maybe when you're getting older and you can start to strategize, remember the little pad. And
Yep.
I also remember in the 90s, my mom and dad had gotten us the travel Yahtzee, which if you're thinking about a car trip, how you're going to roll dice in the seat and how they're going to stay. So there was this little contraption, and it was like a blue piece of plastic, and it had 6 dice. And what you did, you rubbed your hand over it, and then that caused the dice to spin, and then you pop the bottom, and then that caused the dice to stay. So you can have travel Yahtzee essentially. Okay. And you remember how big those travel games were? I don't know if you can see right here. I've got travel hot shot basketball, which is one of my favorite games in the 90s, the little hoop shot. But there's a travel version, which I don't know if I ever took that on a trip. But I wanted to mention Yahtzee. And then there was a game too. I remember this was kind of cool. It was a game called Thin Ice. Anybody remember Thin Ice?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
You had the little tweezers and the marbles, and you had to have the tissue, and whoever dropped their marble and broke the tissue was
Yeah. I just got one, Candyland. That was always a big one in our house. So that one was pretty fun.
Always associate Candyland and Chutes and Ladders in the same, because I feel like same like early elementary style
game, Yep.
Yeah. The other one I could think of that's I would almost call it an equal to Spit was a game that we called card game, Mileborn. That was it was another French adapted Milton Bradley game, except it used vehicles, the car traveling type of, I guess, method. Whereas you had to go 700 miles, and you had to have a green light to go. And you could sit there for what seemed like 5 to a dozen rounds before you'd even start, when your opponent is going 300 miles, 400 miles, halfway down, ready to go or to end. But if you're going at a good pace and having some fun, you had red lights, which would stop your opponent. You'd have accidents, flat tire, speed limits, and out of fuel. Well, then there might be these wild card type or specialty cards rather that would show up, like puncture proof tires. Well, now your opponent can't throw a flat tire on you. Free gas, which would be a tanker truck, so unlimited gas.
Okay.
Right of way, so now stop signs and your speed limits, no one can throw them on you. And you'd have these mile marker type pictures, and they all had something that suited them. Like you'd have a 25, which was the slowest, so you have a turtle. And then you have 50 and 75, 100 and 200. You throw down, and you had to keep count to make sure you knew you hit 700, which was the stop. There was a leverage to it in that the opponent who got to 700 could extend the game to 1,000. Jason and I always defaulted to 1,000 because it just made the game last longer. But it was such a fun game because, like I said, you didn't know. You might be going 3 or 4 rounds of playing cards and you've got it. But then there's that one that trips you up where someone just cannot get a go light and you're stuck. When the opponent has like 500, 600, he's ready to win. You're like, come on, I can't get a green light to save my life. What'd you do? Did you steal them all? The jokes go, but then all of a sudden I'm hitting him with all the crashes all of a sudden, and finally I get a green light. I can get caught up, but then he's got a couple flat tires on me that geez, I'm stuck here at 50 and you're at 700, But it was a really fun, and I liked cars growing up, so I found the likeness of that kind of in those cards. And it was one of those games that mysteriously popped up in our inventory. I believe it was a cousin of ours that dropped it off, who lived up in Michigan. I can't remember if that's fact or what I think happened.
All right. Well, Chad, this was a pretty cool topic with the board games. I'm a big part of all of our lives growing up, so I'm really glad you picked it. It was fun talking about it.
Yeah, it was, and I wanted to end the discussion just as kind of on a lighter note. I was looking up some of the most stress-inducing or chaotic family situation board games that can happen, and if you guys got any stories, chime in. But the game Operation,
Yes.
Oh yeah,
stress-inducing with that.
Yeah.
So is Perfection.
That was my next on my list. Perfection. Yep. I see that. How about Jenga?
Yeah.
Could be potential there to get frustrated.
So it was working when we played it at Jason's dad's house, because he had this trailer. I don't know if it was the table or the floor or the combination, but we played it. You dared not breathe for the entire game, because no matter what you did, that your platform moved.
Yeah.
And as much as we loved it, we equally hated the game, because his dad would purposely, he was always a trickster. So he'd always reach back. Well, I think I got to reach. And Jason would be right on cue. Don't start that. We're in the middle of the game. It'd be hilarious. And then, of course, something would happen. The furnace, one game we had, like the furnace or something minute kicked on.
Yeah. Rattle the house.
Well, I guess the AC won, whatever happened.
Yeah.
Monopoly. You've probably heard of families flipping tables for Monopoly.
Oh, yeah.
One of those games that probably just goes on way too long, and at the very end, people just start dropping like flies. Uno for the sheer fact that people have different rules, about
True.
Draw fours and can you stack, and I guess it's all about who you're playing with,
Yeah.
And then I mentioned this earlier, but sorry, just getting bumped back to home. Right. When you're right there at the end and you get bumped out. So those are some of the most stress-inducing board games. Anybody got any others to add to their?
No, those are ones that are pretty, always had arguments and stuff.
Well, with kids, Chutes and Ladders was one of the more contentious ones, because, your youngster wants to win.
Yeah.
But they got on a slide. They're like, no, it's the game. I'm sorry. You're going back to 20 when I'm at 80 or whatever the count is.
That was the worst one, too. The one that was like on the top row and went all the way to the bottom. Oh.
Yeah, exactly. And again, that was one of those games that had to magically disappear or break for a while till he was more mature to handle that game. And that, it's a child's game, but he sure couldn't hack it, at 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been fun, guys, and we'll end the conversation, and we'll have some links in our show notes, Ken, with some of the games and maybe some YouTube clips.
Right. And now, a special segment we like to call the Retro Resurgence Resume, or Triple R. All right, so we're back here. In the last 2 episodes, Chad and I have taken our questionnaire, sort of, if you will, called the Retro Resurgence Resume. And Chad, what did we say it kind of is? Like
we said if being retro was a job, this would be the first 4 questions on the application. Right,
to see where your nostalgic mind and retroness is at. So we took the last 2 weeks. Like we said, though, we're going to normally reserve this segment for guest appearances on the show. Wyatt, are you ready to take it? The Retro Resurgence Resume?
I'm ready.
All right, here we go. Question 1. What real life retro event makes you happy?
I would probably have to say the RetroCon that we've attended over the years. Real succinct. It was just a great time. You just bathe yourself in everything retro. They do it right. They do try to cater to our niche of Gen X, so 70s to 90s, give or take.
Yeah.
But they also are open to anybody that last year is considered retro to them. So you see a lot of new stuff sometimes show up, and either characters or T-shirts or even booths show up. Some are retro minded, so they'll have something like a new artist has come out, but they're drawing Voltron or something like that.
Okay.
So that's probably one of the best things of late that makes me happy.
Okay. Yeah, I've never been to one. I don't know if I'll ever make one, but they always seem like they're really fun.
They are. I don't know people that fly in, like Adam from Montana. It must be more valuable to him than I think, as far as going to RetroCon. But he loves it. So there's something there that draws him back. If I were living in Montana or the West Coast, I don't know that I'd come to and I don't mean no disrespect to Tony and Rose, but to come to a retro flea market, because that's the bulk of what it looks like. But they do their darndest to make it awesome. So you get all the characters, the actors and voice actors and stuff of the ages. Then they had the Cybertronic Spree concert at the end, which is so awesome to see these people dressed up as Transformers.
Yeah.
And I don't know how, I still am perplexed at how they maneuver without like kicking someone over or breaking off. Like Hot Rod has those wings. I'm waiting for him to lose one,
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll move on to the second question. What real life retro event makes you sad?
It's probably the concerts that are getting canceled of late because of something that's happened health-wise, because obviously they're getting up there in years. So, think Aerosmith recently.
Yeah.
Where Steve Tyler had to the band actually had to make the call, not Steve. The band had to make the call.
Right.
And say, we got to cancel because we were trying, we were hopeful, but his voice is not there anymore.
Yeah.
So that hit me. Phil Collins did his last concert, I think it was last year. And again, he did great on the vocals, but seeing him up there, and bless him for doing it, but he's sitting up there, sitting in a seat.
Yeah. Yeah.
Doing the concert. I'm like, man, you don't need to be up there. I love hearing you, but you don't need to be up there. It's that taxing, but he does it for the fans, and I applaud him for that. So that's probably, of anything, that's probably what makes me saddest, is seeing our people, actors included, the life cycle is happening.
And then you got bands like the Rolling Stones on the other side who are still touring and still going strong.
Oh yeah.
More so, like I would say, like live events, like concerts. That's real life in the flesh. Whereas like actors who are aging, movie magic can do wonders. The de-aging process that a lot of people like Harrison Ford recently did, and like that can delay in your mind. You don't think of the actor, but like, and then music, an older artist can record a music and then it can get polished up, but a live concert's a live concert. So when you see your heroes and your idols in those type of situations, they're, like you said, oh, I noticed, but he was sitting in a chair the whole time. There's reasons for that, So you don't want somebody to get embarrassed, because in this world, things can go viral. Yes. I recently just saw, just like last week, Frankie Valli. He was singing with a group of younger folks, and like it kind of went viral because like Frankie Valli's, he looks very much like he's just going through the motions. Like there's no real, like you see blankness in him, and kind of wrong, you say,
Yeah.
I wish I didn't see that.
Yeah.
But that was a good one. That's actually very well thought up.
Yep. All right. Question 3. Who or what is your favorite fictional retro character?
Well, I was a big toss-up because I like Kit, because he's a what, not really a he or who,
Right,
but he's a cross,
Sure.
Kit. But I think the one that stays the best is a who, and that's Batman. I didn't realize up until probably it's probably closer to 20 years now that there was a Batman before Adam West. And I had watched a few episodes of that, and it was hard, one, getting past it because, it's a sock, whatever bat ear, whatever this is supposed to be at the the pointy ears up here, and it's sagging because it's a cloth of some sort. And then there's always taking Bruce Wayne's car. It's a giveaway, type of thing.
Right.
It wasn't until we were kids watching the '66 Batman, and I thought that was new.
Me too. Yeah.
At the time, until I was probably a teenager before I finally recognized the tail end.
Yeah.
Watching the credits when it was made, I'm like, what? How do I? 20 years ago? What? No. Right. So, and then Batman has stood the test of times. He's been around. He's been redone. Yeah. I think almost too much to some degree, because I like the respect that Batman had, that he should have been left alone, but maybe just add to his adventures. Not, we got to start over because we got a new actor. That's not really my opinion. I don't think that's the right way to go. But I've also liked how they've changed the story and to see how one person's mindset of Batman is over the other. And the comical one, the Lego Batman movie, that was just hilarious altogether.
Yeah. So I believe this year is the 85th anniversary of the character Batman as well. So I've seen a lot of things out there at the stores, with the 85th anniversary tag on it, for Batman. So been around a long time. Yeah. Chad, anything to add on to that?
No, I mean, I'm a child of the 80s, so, I don't even remember the 89 Batman like a lot of people. That's like their fond memory of the movie Batman.
Mm-hmm.
But it keeps getting reinvented, and you usually go with the one that hits you at the right time, right place. So
that one slightly offended me, 89 at first.
Really?
Because the 66 to me was the epitome. That was the absolute. Why do you got to go wreck it? At first, but then I watched it. And even though I went in with a very probably jaded mind of what I thought Batman should be, I came out going, that was really cool. Wow, they really thought the Batmobile through, the guns popping up, and that's just awesome. So I was actually just taken aback and really impressed with it.
So speaking of that real quick, I just grabbed something off my shelf that I just got.
Nice.
Batman. So, and then, here you go with the 85th anniversary. So, I've been collecting a lot of these lately, the Funkos. So,
nice.
Thought I'd throw that in there. All right. Well, we'll move on to the last question, which is, who or what is your least favorite fictional retro character?
Wow. So many villains. I'm not a big fan of the villains, but people do them right. But the one that annoyed me, I'll call it the most recent, was a character from the Filmation Ghostbusters, if you remember that.
Okay.
It's not the real Ghostbusters, it's the one where the car transforms.
Yeah.
And that character is called Bratarat. He was that annoying character that, of all people, Peter Cullen, Optimus Prime, voiced. And he was so annoying that Peter did him well. The writers did him well. Even Peter, when he voiced him, hey boss, how you doing, boss? Anything you need, boss. I'm like, dude, just chill it down. Get rid of this character. Can we just get him famished?
Yeah.
Throw him in the ghost trap or whatever. But he was probably one of the worst. Like I said, there's several villains. I've not been a fan of the villains side, but it's because they've done it so well. I hate the person. I'm trying to think of one that that most recently came to mind. Oh, even Joker, on the '89 Batman, you had Jack Nicholson doing him. He did it so well.
Yeah.
As fun as he was there, I didn't like him as Joker. He was not. I guess I was still thinking it should have been Cesar Romero, the cackling, Joker that we grew up with in '66, not this kind of demented character that did laugh, but not, I guess, not the jovial style, cartoonish laugh that Cesar Romero did, and that bugged me. But he did it so well, I can't not like him,
right?
Because he did the character very well.
All right, well, Chad, I think those were some pretty good answers, and if we were hiring for
when can you start?
Yeah, when can you start?
Anytime when the kids are in bed.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, thanks, Wyatt. Good answers.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, we're going to take a quick ad break. We'll be right back.
Ken, if you want to do Halloween right, you need the right accessories, and HalloweenCostumes.com has you covered.
That's right, Chad. Do you have your trick-or-treat bag, flashlight, pumpkin carving tools? You can't go wrong with adding a few glow stick bracelets and necklaces to any child's costume, making them easier to spot in the darkness. If you don't, then HalloweenCostumes.com is where you need to go. You will want to have all of these things to make the most of your holiday, and HalloweenCostumes.com has the largest selection anywhere.
That's right, Ken. If you click on the link in the show notes or over at geekstermedia.com, you can save 20% on any one item in your cart. So head over to HalloweenCostumes.com now and start adding all the must-have Halloween accessories to your cart so you can have the best Halloween ever.
Okay, we're back. Now let's move on to the next segment of the show, Ken's Toy Retrospective.
Okay, Chad, so that'll bring us to my Toy Line Retrospective segment of the show. And today I kind of got a little something different. It's not necessarily a toy line, but it was a set of action figures that was released in 1997 from Burger King. It was a set of 4 figures from the Universal Monsters. Back in 97, Universal was re-releasing a lot of their old monster movies on VHS, and it looks like even the Postal Service had some postage stamps for them for that year. So if you want to say it, there was kind of a resurgence of the Universal Monsters back in 97.
For sure. Were you working for the post office then, or was that not?
No, not quite at the time. I didn't start until 2004, so I missed out on that.
Missed out on it, yeah.
So they released, like I said, a set of 4 figures: Frankenstein, the Wolfman, Creature from the Black Lagoon, and Dracula.
Yep.
So
each things look cool.
Yeah, they look, the artwork on the packaging was really cool, and each figure came with a glow-in-the-dark sticker along with it.
Also, it looks like a container, right? Like a casket for Dracula.
Yeah, each
table.
The 3 of the 4 figures came with an accessory. Yeah, the Wolfman came with it looks just like a cellar.
Yeah.
Pops out of. Frankenstein had a light-up laboratory table, and then Dracula had a coffin, which, and then the Creature from the Black Lagoon didn't have an accessory, but if you filled him up with water and then pressed a button, he would spit water from his mouth. So
guess that was his special feature, huh?
Yeah. So I don't I don't know if I remember. I mean, of course, at the time, 97, I was in, like early 20s, so I wasn't looking for these, but, you go back and look at stuff and you come across things that you didn't know about, and these look pretty cool.
Yeah, Burger King has definitely had some underrated. I mean, everybody talks about the McDonald's promotion and stuff, but Burger King was kind of low key, had some cool promos,
Yeah, I remember back in the day, like I think when Empire Strikes Back, Star Wars came out, they would come out with a set of 4 glasses and things like that. So yeah, Burger King had some good stuff back then.
Remember, they had some really cool Simpsons Happy Meal toys from like the early '90s when the Simpsons was just getting started. So.
Oh, okay.
Have you ever seen these on eBay?
Actually, I was just looking at these, and they're actually quite easy to come by, and the prices aren't that horribly high either if you can find, the right person selling them. Like I've seen some of these still in the packaging for maybe like $15, $16. So I might have to fish for those later on.
I see a complete set in the bag sealed for $70.
Yeah, that's not too bad.
Break that down. That's about $15.
Yeah, that's not bad. So yeah, I just kind of wanted this episode, since I did the Supernaturals, kind of went in depth a little bit on that one. This one I just wanted to do a little something easier.
Yeah, so what about the something to look for?
Yeah, then something new to look for I found from the company SH Figuarts is a 6-inch Beetlejuice. Mm-hmm. It looks like this is from the original film.
Okay.
Of course, with all these figures these days, they come with a lot of interchangeable accessories. He comes with interchangeable face and head, swap out hands, a clock, gravestone, and a sign that says Beetlejuice. But yeah, looking at these pictures, it looks pretty good. Like I said, we can always, put a link in the show notes so people can see what we're talking about. All right. And then for recent purchases, I've got 2 things here from Marvel Legends. I figured since it's the Halloween season, we have 2 villains from old 90s Spider-Man cartoon. So I'll show them to you here since I have them. So we have the first character is Jack-O-Lantern.
Okay.
So these 2 characters are, I would probably say you're like C-list Spider-Man villains.
Yeah.
So on the back of this one, it says, a mercenary in an armored suit, Jack-O-Lantern terrorizes New York on his hovercraft as the infamous flame-headed villain.
Yeah.
So we got him there.
It's a cool head with all the flames coming back.
Yeah. And then we have another character called Hallows Eve.
Yeah.
So for her, it says, armed with a bag of super-powered Halloween masks, Janine Godby is on a mission to evade the police and free her beloved Ben Reilly as Hallows Eve. So Ben Reilly was another person who suited up as Spider-Man. How the comics, it all kind of, you have different people playing different characters and stuff like that.
The Jack-O-Lantern looks like it comes with the little thing he stands on.
Yeah, he's got his little hoverboard and got a couple different hands and looks like a pumpkin bomb.
Yeah, it looks very cool. Now, where'd you find those at?
I just found those at Target.
Target?
Yeah, those have been out for a little while. All right, and then for my eBay wish list item for this episode, since our main topic was board games, I remembered this board game from back when I was a kid from 1981. It's called not I Want, but I Want to Bite Your Finger, Dracula board game from Hasbro.
Yeah, you got to say it correctly. Bite your finger.
Yeah, so this one was kind of a neat game. Basically released in 1979, 2 to 4 players. So I'll kind of just read the description of the game here of what I have in my notes. Okay, it says, a roll of the dice determines how far a clock dial located on the vampire figure is turned. Turning the dial may cause the vampire's cape to fly open. If the cloak opens, The player whose turn it is must insert a finger into the vampire's mouth while another player attempts to depress a plunger behind the vampire's head. If the plunger depresses, the player's finger is marked with 2 red dots from a twin-nibbed felt-tipped marker located in the mouth. And that player must return to the start space. The clock dial mechanism is designed to open the cape once per revolution. So it's just, not much to it. I suppose, if you get your finger bit by the vampire, you have to go back to the beginning of the game.
Yeah, kind of cool. I mean, for Halloween, pull it out.
Yeah.
I wonder. I'm looking at a screenshot. It looks like the mouth is pretty big, even like an adult's finger could.
I always remember I like the commercials, and then I was trying to think of like a Halloween type game for our, game board episode, and then I came across this one. And I was like, oh yeah, I remember that one. I think somebody in my family had it, and I remember playing it.
Yeah,
so.
Cool. Did you find a lot of them on eBay or a lot of used ones?
A lot of used ones, but then the one that I did find it's still sealed, so it's brand new, but the seller is asking $495.
Wow.
Plus $7.43 shipping. So
yeah.
There you go. If you really want a brand new one, there you go.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, this would be a cool thing for like a Halloween display, even.
Yeah, definitely.
The board, the gate, the box is cool. It's got the, the guy dressed in his cape and his tux. Yeah. So, yeah, we'll definitely put a link to that for sure.
So that's about all I got for the toy segment this show. I thought I'd keep it a little bit shorter.
Sounds good.
Now, let's switch gears and get into Chad's pop culture moment.
All right, Ken. Well, we're moving right along through the show, and our pop culture moment for this episode. I always like to find milestones, anniversaries, and of course, us being in spooky season, the day that this episode drops will be the, what did we say, 48th?
46.
46. Okay,
Yep.
Gotta get my math correct. But on October 24th, 1978, a movie came out, Halloween. I know we spoke about this on the last episode. Halloween, is it one of your faves?
Definitely.
Yeah,
that's one I always go back to every Halloween. So I think Halloween is probably my favorite franchise though of all the spooky Halloween themed movies. I like that one the most.
Yeah, this one was released in 1978, and I think it was set the tone for the slasher films of the 80s. We kind of talked about the 80s being the decade of Freddy and Jason, and you got all these others, but the one that came out way before that was in 78 was Halloween, Michael Myers. So it's a great film, and it's timeless in the sense that people still think about it and watch it, and families get together and watch it. They've got 13 total movies in the whole franchise. Remakes and spin-offs and reimagining and things like that. But when it came out, it grossed 1.2 million across the United States. And then it grossed 47 million throughout its release in theaters, making it and it had 23 million internationally. So 47, 23, 70 million internationally and domestically, making it one of the most successful independent films of all time. And that's really what it's, if you talk about what it's known for, the fact that it was such a low budget film, an independent film. It had a budget of $300K and then it grossing 70 million, making it one of the most successful. And at the time, it was really hard to do independent films, a lot of times you were needing to be with major studios. So John Carpenter, who, wrote and wrote the storyline, he did a great job of storytelling.
Yeah.
And that, it's definitely a movie that if you've seen it, for those who haven't, it's not something that's just in your face. It's very much a slow burn.
Right.
Creating an eerie, unsettling feeling for the entire movie. So, more than just going for the kills and the gore, it really creates suspense. It's got superb camera work, the use of shadows and lighting in the film.
Yeah.
And of course, I think what is most memorable and what makes the movie is the fact that it's got an amazing soundtrack and the score.
Oh, yeah.
We all have probably heard that score from Halloween sometime each Halloween season, and it just makes it a highly regarded film in the industry. It's got some relations to the movie Psycho, if you remember the movie Psycho, Alfred Hitchcock film.
Yeah.
The lead female role in that was Janet Leigh, and she was actually the mother of Jamie Lee Curtis.
Right.
Jamie Lee Curtis, this is pretty much her debut film. She'd been in some other things, but she was basically made her start in this film.
Yeah.
She only made $8,000, I found out, for the movie. And then she was certainly a big get. I think the filmmaker wanted to use her for the fact that Janet Leigh in Psycho was kind of known as a scream queen.
Yeah.
And we figured let's who better to get than her daughter? Maybe we can go with that theme. And another actor who was in it, Donald Pleasance, was a very highly established actor at the time. So those are really the only two actors. And again, Jamie Lee Curtis was an unknown, so Donald Pleasance was really the only big actor. So in terms of didn't have a lot of big name actors, so that certainly helped in the budget when you're trying to stay under 300,000. So it's also kind of ironic that there's a name of the character in both films named Sam Loomis. He's the doctor in Halloween, but there was also a character. So they took a lot from Psycho, the influence of that movie, which I think if you're thinking about at the time in the 70s, Psycho, which was made in the 60s, was probably one of the films that people considered a real big horror movie. So
yeah.
And to this date, it's actually the third most successful film in the slasher genre. The two that beat it were Scream in '96 and then Scream 2 in '97.
Oh, okay.
Those two beat Halloween, but it's been 1996 and '97 have been a while. So for Halloween to be come out in the late '70s and for it to still be the third most highest grossing film in the slasher, since we've had so many others since. Yeah. That it's kind of cool that it still remains at the top. So, so I just wanted to bring that to everyone's attention, the anniversary of the release of Halloween. And I also wanted to mention too, I've almost forgot that there's been a folklore over the many years about the mask, Michael Myers mask. And come to find out, because the film was so low budget that I guess somebody said, well, just go down to the store and grab the first mask you find. Well, somebody on the crew grabbed a Captain Kirk mask, and basically they just flattened it. And that was basically, if you look at Michael Myers, it's really just a transformed version of the Captain Kirk mask.
So the thing, I think the thing that I heard about that was that they got the Captain Kirk mask, turned it inside out.
Oh, is that what it
and painted it white.
White, yeah.
And then, yeah.
Yeah, there's kind of sometimes the legend builds on itself, but I think it's been confirmed that it definitely was a William Shatner mask. So
yeah.
Anyway, I thought it was kind of cool. That
it is, yeah.
And if you look at it, you can kind of tell, I can get that from.
Yeah, you can see it.
Anyway, we just wanted to mention that as our pop culture moment.
Yeah, I'll definitely be watching that pretty soon here, probably over the weekend.
Hey everyone, before Chad and I wrap this episode up, we just wanted to let you know that our time with our guest Wyatt didn't end with this episode. There will also be a bonus episode released with us and Wyatt for our In Memoriam segment. If any of you in the retro community knew who Jason Gross was, you know how great of a person he was and all the great content he created. As of the release of episode 4 and the bonus episode, it will have been exactly 1 year to the date of Jason's passing, October 25th, 2023. This special episode and segment is dedicated to him and talked about by his best friend and our guest on episode 4, Wyatt Bloom. We hope you listen to it, and if anything else, hope you get a better idea and understanding about who Jason was and what he meant to a lot of people. Thanks for listening.
All right, Chad. Well, I think that's going to wrap up episode 4 here of the Retro Resurgence Podcast. I thought it was a really fun episode having our first guest, Wyatt, on the show.
Yep.
Talking some old school board games, and it was nice to get somebody on the show with us.
Yeah, we really appreciate Wyatt and his coming along for the show, and we hope that we can bring more guests down the road.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, Ken, it's been a great episode, and I just want to remind the listeners that find us on Instagram at The Retro Resurgence, over on X at Retro Resurgence, our email address, theretroresurgence@gmail.com, and also new to the show, we've actually got a website. Ken and I have been basically taking content from the show, and especially, we only have so much time to record, but there's some things that we want to expand on. I know Ken's got a really cool article about the cool cereal toys of the 70s and 80s. I checked that out the other day. That was really cool.
Yeah, it was fun to write something. I'm really excited about the website and to put get a lot of content on there, and hopefully people come and visit it.
Yeah, we just like to have it as basically a counterpart to the show, and as time goes on, we know that life happens, and then we may not be able to stick to some of our bi-weekly recording plans, so we're going to have the website there as sort of a way for just if Ken gets the itch to write, or I get the itch to write about something, we'll have a place to do that. And the website address is theretroresurgence.com, and we'll have articles there and snippets from the show, written articles, and even things that we talk about. It'll be especially useful, Ken, for your toys to be able to go find the things you talk about and see them in visual form. So we're excited about it. So go check it out.
Yeah, go check it out. And thanks for joining us again for episode 4, and we'll see you later.
Happy Halloween, everyone.
Yep. Happy Halloween.
Thank you for listening to the Retro Resurgence Podcast. You can find us on most major podcast platforms, including Spotify, Amazon Music, and Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to podcasts. You can also find us on social media. You can follow us on Instagram at The Retro Resurgence. You can also find us on X at Retro Resurgence, or you can email us at theretroresurgence@gmail.com. And lastly, you can find us online at our home base, www.theretronetwork.com, where you'll find lots of great people and content there. Please engage with us on social media or leave us feedback at our email. Leave a rate and review wherever you listen to podcasts. Join us again in 2 weeks here on the Retro Resurgence Podcast.
And that wraps up another episode of the Retro Resurgence Podcast. We're so grateful you joined us today and took a trip down memory lane with us, and we can't wait to bring you more retro goodness in our next episode. Until then, keep embracing the past, and we'll see you soon. Thanks for listening.
This has been a presentation of Geekster Media.